What's up, my dudes? Check out this Monster Energy Yamaha, dog. Little sick ass mod they got in MX vs. ATV All Out. So we're rocking the YZ from here on out, baby. You know what it is. Some of you guys are wondering. I actually ride a Yamaha in real life. That's basically, always been my real life bike. That's pretty much my motocross brand of bike that I choose to ride. But basically, the reason why you always see me riding like a Kawasaki on MXM and stuff like that is because there's not a whole lot of good like Yamaha models on MX Simulator, in my opinion, that actually feel good as far as the front fender and stuff like that. But I'm going to get it all going on the Yamaha on MXM as well here in the near future. So it'll get to the point to where 99.9% of my videos will be me on the YZ, dude. So either way, we got Ironman. Let's check it out. By the way, I got a lot of positive feedback on the new mic, so I'm going to try not to tweak too much of it. I'm going to try to, I think I had a pretty good setting from the jump, to be honest. I've got my levels on like, I don't know, maybe like 80%, and then the gain on like and of course with a certain microphone I have, you have to amp it up like super hardcore. I got phantom power going, got a lot of crazy shit going, so it's gonna be hard to even explain what I even have going as far as the setting wise. But oh dude, that's sick. That obviously iconic Ironman jump right there, where they literally have it so tall that it's got that like MX versus ATV Unleashed big jump effect to where you can't even see the top of the jump. You understand what I'm saying? It's so tall and peaked of a jump that you actually lose sight of the top of the jump. It's pretty badass, and they can get that effect going on some of these tracks. But yeah, and the actual right where I have my compression setting and all that kind of stuff, it just worked out pretty good from the jump. I think now it's just more of a like figuring out how far away I got my mouth from the microphone. Let me do a little stutter vibe. It's kind of early in the morning, boys. Sorry. It's kind of hard when you wake up and you're like chugging a gallon of tea and you're like making a video 5 seconds later. It's like your brain's like cannot keep up with what the hell you're doing. My bad, dog. A little stutter vibe there, but dudes, like, listen, I mean, I make these videos and I go unscripted, full-blown. I can make a 30-40 minute long video, no scripting at all, literally no pre-planning at all, and never miss a beat with my wording. Like, I've trained myself to do that shit over time, and I still mess up from time to time. So some of you YouTubers out there do a little stutter vibe every once in a while. Don't worry about it, dog. Everybody does it. It's like just part of it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so now it's more of just like getting my mouth the perfect distance away from the microphone, and kind of I need to get a different little place where I'm actually putting the mic to where I'm talking directly into it versus kind of the side of it like I'm doing right now. I'm kind of talking through the side of it a little bit. But either way, dog. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I got like 5,000 invites all of a sudden. It always happens whenever I get on here and try to make a video. Like, tons of people try to invite me on Steam. By the way, if you want to go add me up on Steam, my username is just Spencer Turley, no space, no capital. I'll add you back on there. So either way, plus I wanted to get a little bit more of a standard time of day here for the first look video on this, to really give you that true vibe of the actual track. I feel like most of these AMA, Lucas Oil Pro motocross tracks are normally raced on like a, more standard middle of the day vibe. I mean, obviously sometimes, especially if it's like Moto 2, sometimes like at the end of the day and more sunset vibe and stuff like that. But I just try to get the most what you actually expect from that track and stuff like that. Sometimes when I get on here and it gives me that like, super sunset time of day, or it gives me that super morning vibe time of day, it kind of gives you a little bit, kind of throws the track off a little bit from what you would expect it to be like. So either way, they got those jumps pretty sick. That one actually curves a little bit. You got to be careful. If you jump it straight down the hill, you're just going to go off the track right there. So got to be a little careful there. Of course, that triple up the hill, right? It's actually pretty, like, believe it or not, it's pretty one-to-one scale, like width and like actually layout wise. It feels very one-to-one, kind of narrowy type. Definitely compared to MXM. MXM feels way more longer straights, a little bit wider. That whole kind of vibe over the previous years anyways. I've rode obviously multiple years of MX Sim, replica tracks on this and stuff. But this is my first look video on this. I apologize for not getting this video out yesterday. I actually didn't even have the track in the track list for so long yesterday, so I didn't have time to make it because it's already too late. So yeah, but this should be out to all you guys now, to the free public. If you actually have the the national season pass or whatever the hell, it's just going to go to all you guys that already have that. So you don't have to pay any extra for this track right here. So it's pretty sick. So kind of cool how they did that. Basically, you just continue to get more and more and more of the tracks as they come out. So kind of cool for the community and the racing side of it and stuff, because they can really plan on doing pro races and cool shit like that on the newer track that comes out, kind of similar to how it does on RFMX Simulator. You're kind of waiting on that next round, you're waiting on that next race and shit, right? And then it comes out and everybody gets it and stuff. And so kind of cool how they did all that versus just plopping them all in your lap at once, you know what I'm saying? But either way, so yeah, I mean, just about my same sort of thought as I had on most of the other tracks. Just pretty solid overall, dude, and really solid as far as the off-track objects and the banners and the billboards and where the trees are at, and they really did a dandy on the whole, making you feel like you're on that real life as far as the off-track goes, making you feel like you're on that real life environment of that track. They really, definitely hats off to MX vs. ATV for capturing that. They, I was really concerned about that when I first heard about this DLC. I was like, damn, are they really going to be able to capture the differences of all the different tracks, or are they all going to kind of just feel like the same track but a different on-track? And it's really not that way. They really do feel like completely different tracks, man, for sure. So we can get this in some first-person vibe action here. All right. Oh, got some definite ruts going on. Not quite as gnarly ruts as some of the other, pre-made wise, as some of the other tracks. It's interesting. It's a combination of maybe, maybe you mixed, I don't know, Spring Creek with, I don't even really know how I would explain that. Kind of you mix Spring Creek with, Bud's Creek or something. It's kind of got kind of a mixture of, similar to Bud's Creek in a way, the Bud's Creek of this track, or of this game, what I meant, right? It's kind of similar to that. Every one of the tracks has a slightly different, the way the pre-made ruts are made, and the way the jumps are designed, and the way the corners are designed, and the way the roughness is designed. All the tracks have just a slightly different variation of all that. Really love the shading through the trees right here. Yes, dog. That really, really captures that whole vibe, that real-life shading on the track vibe that a lot of you guys see when you're watching the real-life, Lucas Oil Pro motocross racing, all the shading. And it actually affects the racing, because it's going to affect what line you're going in. It's going to affect what rut you're going to be able to hit, especially when you got terrain deformation on like this game has. It's really going to affect what you can see, and it's giving you that real life dynamic gameplay effect to the game. So pretty badass when you think about all of that to it. But yeah, not quite as hardcore ruts. It just kind of feels like you're kind of mobbing into the corner, and you're not really having to look for one individual rut. You can kind of grab in a rut a little bit, but it's not super hardcore ruts. I really wish this game didn't do that right there. Sometimes when you go into a rut and it's literally you bounce off of a literal wall, but you bounce backwards. Either make me crash or make me be able to go forward and kind of pull myself out of it. Don't make me bounce backwards. What the hell is that? Oh man, there's just some things. And I know there's a lot of different adjustments and a lot of different tweaks you can make to the setup of this game and stuff like that. I know. I've had a lot of you guys hit me up. Yes, I could get real technical and get in there and look on some pros setup and try to get more of a grounded setup in this game and stuff like that. But my whole point, whenever I talk about I don't even really want to fuck too much with this setup because I don't even play this game that much. My whole point to saying that is when you have a game like Reflex, it don't even bounce this much with a completely stock setup. You understand what I'm saying? It don't even do some of the weird vibe shit that All Out does with a completely stock setup. So it's you gotta understand, an arcade motocross game should feel decent standard jump, from the standard like default setup. The tweaking of your setup should be very, very tweaking, not like totally changing the whole feeling of the bike. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the same way with I really didn't like the whole vibe of the official Monster Energy Supercross game, where basically like you had to do like whip challenges and whip training and shit like that, and that would like change the way the whips felt in the game. Some of you motocross arcade game companies need to stop making it feel so different from when you first get into the game for when you like totally change settings and upgrade. That's really more of a simulator vibe thing. And I'll tell you why you don't want to do that so much is because you're going to kill a lot of people's first impressions of your game. You know, you want it to feel damn near as good as it can feel from stock. Obviously, you want some adjustments. Obviously, you want some suspension adjustments, aka, you know, MX versus ATV reflex. Like, there's still a lot of adjustments in that game, and you can really change the feeling of the bike and stuff, but it doesn't feel like so different physics system wise from like stock default to like a modded out bike. You know, it doesn't feel like you're playing a completely different game, and you want it to be more like that because when people first get into your game, that's their first impression of it. Like, you know, you don't want to have like too much like whip training to where you're not really feeling the true whip system of the game unless you go through the training and do all that kind of crap. You don't want to have like a scrub, you know, like a unlockable scrub ability at level 50, aka MX versus ATV Alive. You don't want that kind of bullshit, man. You want to have basically your good physics system from the jump default stock, but you just want to be able to tune it a little bit over time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where some of these arcade motocross game companies kind of go a little wrong, that the game doesn't even feel like the actual game whenever you first get into it. And most people don't even spend the amount of time to go through all those little intricacies and like really tuning the setups and stuff. You know what I mean? To really get to that point. But that's just my own personal opinion. I think that should be more of a simulator thing more than an arcade motocross gaming thing. You know, that like super tuning the bike and super getting technical with all that kind of shit. That should really be just more of a simulator thing to me, honestly. Because, you know, when you first get into a simulator, it's like, oh my God, what the hell is this game? And then you have to learn it over time. Then you adjust your setup over time. It's got like a super tuning aspect to it. But, you know, tuning should affect your suspension and all that kind of stuff, but it shouldn't affect too much of the like the core physics of the game. You understand what I'm saying? It shouldn't change too much of that. Like, it shouldn't change how much you can whip in a game by tuning something too much. That shouldn't be that big of a thing when you talk about an arcade motocross game. But either way, that's just my own personal opinion. Like, yes, I understand I can go in there and tune and do all this kind of crap for All Out, and I may do it in the future just for the shits and giggles, but it's not like I don't know about that stuff. It's not like I don't know that I can do that stuff. It's just I just don't care enough. Like, you gotta understand, I just don't care. When you get into a simulator, everything else becomes not as important. Every other motocross game that you play just kind of becomes like, I'm just having fun, man. I'm just playing around. I'm just kind of being silly, like having a good old time. It don't mean that much to me to look fast on All Out. I guess what I'm trying to get, the main point I'm trying to get at here, like, yeah, I'm sure some of you guys that are hardcore into All Out do all these crazy, like, I mean, I looked on that Discord, that All Out Racing Discord, and there's like all kinds of shit you can do to make the game actually feel better. Let me see. Let me actually go to a free ride version of fucking Ironman. Okay. Yeah, but there's like all kind of shit. Okay, so this is the free ride version of it, obviously without all the official stuff around the track. But I mean, I was seeing like you could go in there and change like different graphical settings that would make the game feel better. Like, I mean, like crazy shit, almost like exploiting the game in a way, and just all kind. There's a plethora of different things you can do to make you look faster and All Out. I guess what I'm trying to get at, and the thing is when you get fast at a simulator, you get fast at MX Simulator, you get top 5 in a pro race on MX Simulator. The amount of fucks that you give for being fast in an arcade motocross game literally like just dwindles down to pretty much nothing. Like, you don't care in the same way as you would if you weren't a pro at a simulator, if you weren't very fast at a simulator, like this is your skill motocross game. You want to look fast at this game. This is your game that you race on. This is your game that you play. Same with like reflex. If you're really hardcore into reflex, then you want to go through all those little intricacies. You want to spend the time to look at everything and get deep into the game and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, when you get into a game like MX Simulator that's literally 1,000 times the skill gap and 1,000 times the tuning and 1,000 times the adjustments and 1,000 times the bike physics filling and all that, it just makes it to where you just don't give as much of a shit at looking fast in an R. It just doesn't mean the same. I don't know. It's really hard to explain. Some of you guys that are hardcore into MX Sim will really know what I'm talking about. Some of you guys that aren't really that hardcore into MX Sim won't really know what I'm talking about, but it's just hard to explain it. But like, trust me, guys, all you guys tell me, yo, set up your bike like this. Yo, you don't have so much bounce if you change this. Yo, tune your bike like this. Yo, change this. Like, I understand everything you're saying. I just don't, it don't mean that much to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just coming on here having fun, man. You gotta understand, like, I'm not playing all out to be serious, to race hard, to get a fast lap time. I don't even play this game like that. I don't even play hardly any of these arcade motocross games like that. I mean, yeah, I'm going to be on the gas and I'm going to be fucking, trying to go fast and trying to do different stuff, but I don't get into it like hardcore as you could get into it. Like, I don't get into the official Monceu Supercross game and the milestone games as hardcore as some other people get into them. I'm being completely honest with you. Like I'm not scared to admit that. I don't even get into it like that. Now when it comes to MX Simulator, yeah, I am into it like that, and I'm trying to look fast on MX Sim, and I'm trying to go fast in that game, and I'm trying to, because I spend the time to understand all the little intricacies of that game, because that's really the pinnacle when it comes to the skill gap motocross game. That's the pinnacle. You're not really going to get it any more skill gap than that. But I mean, I was that way. How I'm talking about all this, like you get really into the intricacies and all that. I was that way with Reflex on the console back in the day for like 4 years straight. I got really into that game, got deep into it. So I understand when it comes to like an arcade motocross game and like really getting into it and the intricacies and the setting up the bikes and stuff like that. I understand all that. It's just there's so many updates that go on with All Out and all this stuff. And it's like I would change one thing and then they would update something. It'd be completely different. And I don't even play it that much, so it's like it's just easier for me to keep it stock. You know what I'm saying? That's literally, and they had that whole bug where it like wasn't shifting the bike properly and doing all that, and I could have went in there and tried to change the setup to try to make it work better for that, and then they would have fixed that bug and it wouldn't have mattered anyways. All this shit, like I just don't even play it enough, so it just doesn't. I mean, like, trust me, guys, I get what you're saying, but it just doesn't, it don't even matter. Like, I'm still getting decent footage for YouTube. No, I'm not getting the fastest of the lap time of everybody's lap time, and I'm like, laser lining on the track, and I'm hitting the most perfect line, and I'm staying on the ground, and no, I'm not doing all that, but it doesn't matter. It ain't that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing this game for fun, man. I'm literally just fucking around on these arcade motocross games, like, it just gets to that point where you feel like it's kind of pointless taking an arcade motocross game serious when you've already taken a game that has 10,000 times the skill gap serious and mastered a game that has 1,000 times the skill gap and gotten into a game like that. It just literally seems pointless in taking an arcade motocross game that serious again. It's like, what's the point? The only way I would ever do that again, I'll tell you right now, the only way I'd ever do that again is if they somehow came out with like a legitimate full-blown Reflex 2 game that was like Reflex, but obviously a 2 version. Oh, check out this shit. Let's go check out all these little random off-track tracks here. Little secret tracks. Not really secret, but you know what I'm saying. What the hell is this? Like a whoop training? What is this? Like a roller training track? That's kind of cool. But sorry guys, I didn't mean to go on a tangent there, but I just have to say that every once in a while because some people like see me going, not like fastest of the fast on it. See, they expect you to ride like that in an arcade motocross game when you're like a pro at MX Simulator. They're like, well, you should be fast on this arcade motocross game, you know what I mean? But it's like, they don't understand. I don't even care. I don't even play this game that much to even give a shit. So it's like, and same way with the milestone games. I don't even play them that much to give a shit. I mean, I play them enough to get the general gist of it and to kind of figure out somewhat of what I'm doing, but I can't keep up to date with every little, physics update, every little tuning update, every little, I don't even play it that enough to care that much. So it don't even matter. And when it comes to looking fast at the game, I don't even care if I look fast or not. Go look at my MX Simulator shit if you want to see looking fast. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. And that means way more to me than being fast at a game like this would mean to me. Because you get to that point where it's like, okay, MX Simulator is really the game that you can separate yourself. MX Simulator is really the game that you can look like you're something at, and it means something. It's actually real pro racing elements to it. And, dude, look at all this crazy off-track stuff. Good God, bro. This is kind of cool. I don't know if this is on the real-life off-track of Ironman or not. I don't know if they just kind of threw this in there or if it's actually a thing, but look at this shit, dude. This is like a three-lane type track right here. That's interesting. It kind of reminds me of that like three-lane or that like multiple lane straight rhythm. What the hell is this? This is like almost like a trail track, kind of like I literally don't even know what I'm riding on right now, dog. This is crazy. This is really cool though. That this is in here. Look at this, dude. Look at all the shading going on too. Okay. Yeah, so maybe this is like a real trail track in Ironman? I don't know. I don't know if that's actually a thing. Oh, corner, dog. Corner. Tree. All right. But yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to go on a tangent there on you boys, but it just sometimes, you just got to explain that because some people don't realize that because they're not into a simulator like that, so they don't understand how it is when you get to that level, But it's just different. Your mind just kind of gets different on its what means the most to you and what matters and what you want to spend your time on. Because it's like, to me, if I was going to spend all that time on any motocross game, I would just do it on MX Simulator. I wouldn't do it on an arcade motocross game. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to do that once you get to a certain level on a simulator. It just kind of becomes pointless. But that was my whole point at the very beginning of it kind of being like, it should feel pretty good stock bike setup in an arcade motocross game. Obviously, once you get it modded, like as far as the buyable parts, obviously all of that, but I'm talking about once you get all the bought parts for a bike, it should feel pretty good, like as far as what the game can feel like physics-wise once you get to that point. But it shouldn't, guess what I'm saying is it shouldn't require you to do this crazy tuning setup to even get the actual real physics of the game filling in the game, or it shouldn't require you to get to level 50 to unlock a scrub ability to get the true whip filling of the game, or it shouldn't require you to do this random weird training thing to get the true whip filling in a game. I just don't believe that way. I don't really feel like those games arcade games should have that to them. Obviously, when you haven't even upgraded the bike, it's not going to feel as good as it could as far as exhaust upgradables and chassis upgradables and buyable suspension parts and all that. Obviously, that's going to make an impact to the game, but I just mean it shouldn't make as big of an impact as what it does make in some of these games. Dude, check out this endless wheelie. What's dog? Yeah, the wheelie system might be a little bit too easy in this game. Kind of feels a little bit like Alive in a sense, where it's like super, super easy. Reflex had a cool balance to the wheelie system. I think Reflex might would have been just ever so slightly too hard to hold the wheelie up. You know what I'm saying? Just ever so slightly too difficult, but it was cool. But then it's like they went to Alive and they overcompensated for it, and then it made it way too easy to ride a wheelie in Alive. Like literally everybody and their absolute 90-year-old grandmother could ride a wheelie in Alive. I keep saying wheelie because when I say Willie, all of you guys are like, he said Willie. It's like, shit, dog. Damn. Now I gotta say wheelie, fucking whipped cream, fucking goddamn, dog. But either way, pipe, all right. I don't know if that was a pipe, but whatever that thing was. Fucking little concrete barrier that just slayed my ass. So either way, pretty cool Ironman track, man. I know I didn't talk too much about it. There's just not much more to say, to be honest. I mean, pretty much the same level of all the other replica tracks. I mean, I'm not disappointed in any of the jumps or really any of the sections. I can't really say that they did a certain jump worse or bad or whatever. But yeah, it's just another AMA replica track for you guys to ride on. So pretty cool. I don't know how much these ruts would really form up for you with terrain deformation on, but got some cool rollers. Got more of a sandy roller vibe right through there. Then got this whole little section right here, obviously. So, yeah. Either way, not too bad. Got the American flag right there, as always. Hell yeah. Salute, baby. Hey, salute to all you dudes that been in the Army and stuff like that. I appreciate it. I know I don't say that stuff enough, but I appreciate all you dudes in the service for any country that you're in, you know? I mean, that takes a lot to do that kind of stuff, really. But, special shout out to all the U.S. dudes that, put their life on the line and stuff, man. Like, I can't ever explain how much I appreciate that. So if any of you guys are, in that kind of environment, I appreciate the hell out of it for sure. But either way, look at all that shit in the back. That's like a damn... Look at that. I got to go over there real quick. Look at this, dog. It's like a fucking Whoop training... It's like they're almost... Dude, it's like a terrace... Like super terrace field or some shit. I don't even know what's going on right here, bro. That's kind of cool, though. Like, you can... This is actually a cool little free ride area, to be honest. Can't go over there. Ooh, got closed, dog. Got closed, baby. This has got that whole little... This is almost like this is kind of like a farmland or some shit, and then they went through and kind of made a little bit of a track on it. Holy shit, the roughness through here, dog. Yeah, I just think there's certain little physics things they can improve on with the next MX vs. ATV game, like really being able to carry your momentum more, not lose momentum, and just little momentum changing effects that the game has and certain things like that. Definitely think they can improve on it, but got the whole house and barn action over there. Kind of cool. So either way, dudes, that's first look on Ironman here. Appreciate all the support, boys. Be back on the next video. Later, my dudes.